What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Marisha LaShay, and welcome to another episode of The Breakfast Show with Marisha LaShay. What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Thursday. Hello, hello, and hello, and hello. Come on in. We're tuning in from the house. Okay? Okay. So, this is season 6. I'm so ecstatic. I'm so happy. It is a time to be celebrating at this point. First and foremost, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life. Thank you, God. Special shout out to my support system. Also, shout out to my listeners and supporters. Thank you guys so much for all that you guys continue to do for me and how you guys are supporting me. I am so happy. Can't you tell? So, let's continue. So, of course, I always have to tell my story as to how I got started with podcasting, how I made it to season 6. It all started from 2 suggestions. First suggestion is being able to take my thought provoking content in front of an actual live audience, which have been you all. And these 2 suggestions came from my father. So, shout out to him for being that soundboard for me to be able to bounce my ideas off and to draft up different things and just kind of initiating the process so I could begin to do what I need to do. So, with that being said, the second suggestion was that I go live days, 30 days, but only in the months that have 30 days and not every day. So when I did that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. So that's the months of November, April, June, and September. And we are currently in the month of June now. So, have to drop my podcast because that is one of the months that have 30 days. I thought it was pretty unique because that means I will be on the air at least 4 times out of the year, and it's been working. So why complain about it? If it's not broken, then don't fix it. So, meanwhile, that's my story. That's how I got started. And this is your sign that you need to start your podcast, right? So, moving on to the next part of the show, and that is when we do our mental check ins. How are we feeling on a scale 1 to 10? 1 being the worst day of your life, and 10 being the best day of your life. You can be below a 1, and you can also be above a 10. So, today I am feeling really good. Feeling really good. That still hasn't given you guys a number. I'm gonna say that I am about a good 8. Definitely a good 8. Very reserved. I know I have a lot that I need to kind of undergo today, just overall. From my brand stuff, from school stuff, to just different thoughts and things that I need to do to be able to make sure that I'm meeting those goals and everything like that. So I'm just definitely like very, very ecstatic, very, very happy. Just, man, I'm just really, really glad and excited. So, yes, with that being said, go ahead and share your feelings as well if you feel led to share based on a scale 1 to 10 and drop the info. Meanwhile, moving into the next part of the show, I want to kind of talk about what my goals are for this season. And my goals are to expand my listener base. That's my first goal. And I would like to get to 1,000 listeners. I'm currently at 718 listeners actively. My second goal is to expand to various countries. I'm currently being heard in 12 countries, and I have 183 more to lock down. Third goal is grow my presence on YouTube, and my YouTube page is Marisha LaShay, using the at symbol 1020. If you're not already liking and subscribing to my actual page, definitely feel free to do so. Fourth goal is subscription starting with Apple Podcasts. Fifth goal is to establish a podcast for younger listeners. I have something in store for you guys next week. Be on the lookout for that because we're coming. And eight, I said and eight. Okay, I don't know why I'm thinking about the number 8. But my last and final goal is adding digital products and merchandise. So, with the digital products, of course, my ebook will be dropping next week on the 30th. So, that's something to look forward to always. But just being able to host different workshops, events, and things like that, and merchandise is absolutely coming one thing at a time, just kind of pacing myself and kind of getting that stuff together as well. So, yay. This is season 6. This podcast is focusing on 26 trending topics in life in an alphabetical order. Today is day 22, and there are 8 more days to go. The next letter up is V. And the question of the day is, what topic start with the letter V? So let's talk about vaccine hesitancy. Vaccine hesitancy refers to the reluctance or refusal to get vaccinated despite the availability of vaccines. This topic discusses the factors contributing to vaccine hesitancy, the impact on public health, effective communication strategies, and the importance of promoting vaccine confidence. So, of course, I got a good old, you know, article that I can definitely touch bases on and just kind of talk about it as it relates to vaccine hesitancy. So we've already talked about what it actually is. I just kind of want to go over that again and then kind of go into, how this comes about. So, vaccine hesitancy is a delay in acceptance or refusal of vaccines, despite the availability of vaccine services and supporting evidence. The term refusal covers refusals to vaccinate, delaying vaccines, accepting vaccines but remaining uncertain about their use, or using certain vaccines but not others. The scientific consensus that vaccines are generally safe and effective is overwhelming. Vaccine hesitancies often results in disease outbreaks and death from vaccine preventable. Therefore, the World Health Organization characterized vaccine hesitancy as one of the top 10 global health threats. Anti-vaccinationism refers to total opposition to vaccination. In more recent years, anti-vaccinationists have been known as anti-vaxxers or anti-vax. Vaccine hesitancy is complex and content specific, varying across time, place, and vaccines. It can be influenced by factors such as lack of proper scientifically based knowledge and understanding how about the actual vaccine itself, about how it's made or work, as well as the psychological factors, including fear of needles and distrust of public authorities, a person's lack of confidence, which can lead to the mistrust of the vaccine and or the healthcare provider. Complacency, the person does not see a need for the vaccine or does not see the value of the actual vaccine. However, let's talk about the convenience, which is the access to these particular vaccines. It has existed since the invention of vaccination and predates the coining of the terms vaccine and vaccination by nearly 80 years ago. The Pacific hypothesis raised by the anti vaccination advocates have been found to change over time. Although myths and conspiracy theories, misinformation and disinformation spread by the anti vaccination movement and fringe doctors leads to vaccine hesitancy and public debates around the medical, ethical, and legal issues related to vaccines. There's no serious hesitancy or debate with the mainstream medical and scientific circles about the benefits of vaccination. Proposed laws that mandate vaccination, such as California Senate Bill 2277 and Australia's No Jab, No Pay, have been opposed by anti-vaccination activists and organizations. Opposition to mandatory vaccination may be based on an anti-vaccine sentiment, concern that it violates civil liberties or reduces public trust in vaccination, or suspension of profiteering by the pharmaceutical industry. The effectiveness. We want to talk about the scientific evidence for the effectiveness of large scale vaccination campaigns is well established. 2 to 3 million deaths are prevented each year worldwide by vaccination, and an additional 1.5 million deaths could be prevented each year if all recommended vaccines were used. Vaccination campaigns help eradicate smallpox, which once killed as many as 1 in 7 children in Europe, and nearly eradicated polio. As a more modest example, infections caused by hypothelius influenzae, a major cause of bacterial meningitis and other serious disease in children, have decreased over 99% in the USA since the introduction of a vaccine in 1988. It is estimated that the full vaccination from birth to adolescence of all U.S. children born in a given year save 33,000 lives and prevent 14 million infections. There is anti-vaccine literature that argues that the reduction in infectious disease result from improved sanitation and hygiene rather than vaccination, or that these diseases were already in decline before the introduction of vaccines. These claims are not supported by scientific data. The incidence of vaccine preventable diseases tend to fluctuate over time during the introduction of specific vaccines, and at which the point incidence drop a near zero. Centers for Disease Control Prevention website aimed at countering common misconceptions about vaccines argued, are we expected to believe that better sanitation caused the incidence of each disease to drop? Just at the time a vaccine for that disease was introduced. Another rallying cry for the anti vaccine movement to call for randomized clinical trials in which an experimental group of children are vaccinated with a control group are unvaccinated. Such a study could never be approved because it will be require deliberately denying children standard medical care, rendering the study unethical. Studies have been done that compare vaccinated to unvaccinated people, but the studies are typically not randomized. Moreover, literature already exists that demonstrates the safety of vaccines using other experimental procedures. Okay. Other critics argue that the immunity granted by vaccine is only temporary and requires boosters, whereas those who survive the disease become permanently immune. As discussed below, the philosophies of some of the alternative medicine practitioners are incompatible with the idea that vaccines are effective. Okay, we also want to talk about population health as one of the um, factors in the vaccine hesitancy. Incomplete vaccine coverage increases the risk of disease for the entire population, including those who have been vaccinated, because it reduces herd immunity. For example, the measles vaccine is given to children 9 to 12 months old, and the window between the disappearance of maternal antibody and seroconversion means that the vaccinated children are frequently still vulnerable. Strong herd immunity reduces this vulnerability. Increasing herd immunity during an outbreak or when there is a risk of an outbreak is perhaps the most widely accepted justification for mass vaccination. When a new vaccine is introduced, mass vaccination can help increase coverage rapidly. Let's talk about the cost effectiveness. Commonly used vaccines are cost effective and preventive way of promoting health. Compared to the treatment of an acute or chronic disease, in 2001, the United States spent approximately 2.8 billion to promote and implement routine child immunizations against 7 diseases. The societal benefits of those vaccinations were estimated to be 46.6 billion, yielding a benefit cost ratio of 16.5. Let's talk about the necessity of the vaccination program successfully reduces the disease threat. It may reduce the perceived risk of disease as cultural memories of the effects of that disease fade. At this point, parents may feel that they have nothing to lose by not vaccinating their children. If enough people hope to become free riders, gaining the benefits of herd immunity without vaccination, vaccination levels may drop to a level where herd immunity is ineffective. According to Jennifer Rich, those parents who believe vaccination to be quite effective but might prefer their child to remain unvaccinated are those who are most likely to be convinced to change their mind as long as they are approached properly. Now, the safety concerns, of course, will arise because for most of those anti-vaccinationists, openly deny the improvements vaccination has made to public health or believe in conspiracy theories. It is much more common to cite concerns about safety. As with any medical treatment, there is a potential for vaccines to cause serious complications such as severe allergies, but unlike most medical interventions, vaccines are given to healthy people, and so a higher standard of safety is demanded. While serious complications from vaccinations are possible, they are extremely rare and much less common than similar risks from the diseases they prevent. As the success of immunization program increases and the incidence of disease decreases, public attention shifts away from the risk of the disease to the risk of vaccination, and it becomes challenging for health authorities to prevent public support for vaccination programs. So let's talk about. I'm going to stop there from reading my particular article, but I just kind of want to talk to this issue because I know that we are still in this season of COVID. And when COVID was, spreading like wildfire, I didn't get vaccinated. I didn't even catch the COVID until after the fact. Like I had COVID last year in August. And did I go get vaccinated after that? No. Were my symptoms was extreme? No, not really. It felt like I had like a regular cold, just with increased appetite, a lot of fatigue, and just wanting to just rest so much. Like I was just really, really tired. And then thinking about my pre health conditions, like I have asthma, I have sleep apnea. Looking at those particular factors, those were some things that I factored in. Did my son ever catch COVID? None. He had never had COVID at all. Okay. But he'll catch a stomach virus. That's crazy. But hey, it's about building up your immune system and things like that. I know people who decided to get the COVID shot because their job threatened them to get the COVID shot. And I was just like, it's a no for me, dog. No. I just get tested every week. I mean, especially when we working with the school system, because a lot of kids do not get their vaccinations and whatever, even though the school requires you to. Some of the parents still kind of slide by night with that, and kind of sneak on and roll on. So, I mean, anything is bound to happen and take place. So, what can you really do at this point? So, yeah, I know people who got the vaccination. My mom, she's allergic to some of everything, but she ended up getting a vaccination and she had, side effects just like any other vaccination. My grandmother got the vaccination. She's vaccinated, both my grandmothers, all my grandmothers. But then this is the kicker for me, for the people who got vaccinated, they caught COVID. Make that make sense to me. But, I'm not here to tussle and carry on. I'm just here to spread the good word. And with that being said, you guys, I'm out of here. This is the close of the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope that you guys kind of learned something, or I just kind of put some, thought on your mind about vaccine hesitancy. So, yeah, I'll be here same time, same place. Thank you guys so much for all that you do and all of your support. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you.